Hello, welcome to another video. Today marks the first day of October. How has that happened? I'm filming this on the first day of October, but this will probably go up on the Wednesday, which will be the 4th, I think. But, like, holy cow, like, where has the year disappeared to? Where? I just don't know where. Anyway, first day of a new month means I finished my September reading, which means here is a September wrap-up. I hope you enjoy. 4 books and a graphic novel I managed in September. A few of these you already know about because obviously the Reading Quest wrap-up I did was on the 10th of September, so there were some things I finished in September, so there is a bit of a repeat and an overlap. Sorry, but I want to be consistent and do the whole month. Hope you don't mind. Anyway, without further rambling, let's go. The first book that I finished in September was my buddy read with Jess, which was Flame in the Mist. I have done a book babble on this. If you would like to know my thoughts on this, I strongly suggest that you go and watch that book babble because I had thoughts and they are all in said babble. I was thoroughly underwhelmed with this book. I do not think it was what it was advertised to be. For a Mulan retelling, there was not enough Mulan heroism in here for me to really make that connection. The only similarity was girl dresses as boy. Like, no one saved China, and that's what I wanted. It wasn't even set in China, like, come on, no. So yeah, go and watch that book babble if you want all my thoughts on this. I can't remember what I rated it, 2 stars I think, just because, you know, it was readable. It didn't make me want to, like, hurt myself like Given to the Sea did, but it really wasn't anything spectacular. Below average. The next thing I finished in September was Monstrous Volume 1 by, oh I didn't say Flame in the Mist was by Renee Ellier, but I assume you all know that already. Monstrous by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. I always struggle and forget who this is by, but there you go. I really enjoyed this quite a lot. The art style in here is absolutely gorgeous. Again, I did mention this in my Reading Quest wrap-up, but here it is again. The art style is gorgeous. I really enjoyed it. It was quite graphic, like quite gruesome, so if you're not into violence and graphic gruesomeness, maybe not, but I really enjoyed it. The story was so gripping, but only from about halfway. I do admit that maybe the first quarter was quite slow getting into it because there were so many things that you weren't aware of, and I suppose it depends on the person. Some people would be like, okay, I need to know. I was a bit like, I don't understand, so I can't be bothered. But it really picked up later on and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The art is just stunning and I cannot wait to read the next one. Look at that art style. It's just gorgeous. So pretty. Yeah, the end of this one was totally like mind-blowing. I need to read the second one. I haven't yet. I do have it, so I hope to read it before the end of the year, but it's just here somewhere. But I can't wait to see what happens. And from what I'm aware, the second one is the last one. Like, it is only 2. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that wraps it up, so it'll be interesting to see how the story ends. And I'm really excited to do that. But this, yes, I gave it 4 stars just because of my iffiness in the beginning, but it was amazing, so yeah. The next thing that I read in September was A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I absolutely fell in love with this book. This is quite possibly one of the best things I've ever read. I loved it. I just loved it so much. Like, it's up there with some of my favourite books of all time. This book made me fall in love with Victoria Schwab. I'd previously only read This Savage Song and A Darker Shade of Magic, and I really enjoyed both of those, but this just upped the game. This was incredible. I loved it so much. I have done a little bit of a book babble on it. Pretty much it's just me splurting about how much I loved it, so feel free to go and check that out. I will link it down below, of course. The biggest 5-star rating, like, imaginable. This was insane. And I'm now building a V.E. Schwab shrine because she's just, like, barged her way to the top of my favourite authors list. Like, this book, I've never known a single book to make me fall in love with an author so much, and this just did. I cannot wait to read the next one. Definitely my favourite book of the month. I loved it. Quite possibly my favourite book of the year, but I'll evaluate those choices closer to the end of the year because I've read some whoppers. The next book that I read in September is a whopper on the topic of whoppers, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This book is beautiful, like absolutely stunning. Look at all the blue, so lovely. When I was going into this, didn't really know what to expect at all, and I was thoroughly impressed with what I got. I cannot remember if I gave it 4 or 5 stars, but it was a goodie. Let me just check my Goodreads rating for it. I did give it 4 stars. There's probably a reason for that, but why would I have deducted a star? I don't know. Maybe just because it was so long and it took me like a heck of a time to get through it, but it was an incredible read. It was very atmospheric and it really did transport you to the world that the book is set in. The world building was incredible. The characters were fantastic. I think another thing that I really enjoyed about this was there was a grand lack of romance, which was refreshing and nice, but there was still a little bit in there, but that was by far not the main point of this book. The end of this, like, holy Jesus, I need the next one, because that ending just had my stomach in knots. Like, why would you do that? But the reasons you would do that is so you would buy the next book, of course. And I cannot wait for the next one. This, if you are not aware of what it's about, I mean, I know I went into it not knowing a lot, so I'll kind of just tell you what I knew going into it. It is about a boy called Laszlo Strange, who is nicknamed Strange the Dreamer because he has a tendency to have big dreams and he wants to explore, he wants to have adventures, he wants to do more than his life has set for him. Back of the book says, it was impossible of course, but when did that ever stop any dreamer from dreaming? And I think that just sums up the book so nicely, because Laszlo is constantly like thinking it's not possible, it can never be possible, but they're his dreams and he fights for his dreams to be true, and he has this weird connection with this world, and I won't say any more than that, but it was really good. I do recommend reading it if you haven't. If you're not into slow atmospheric books, then you might find it a bit of a drag because it is a big one. There is a lot of atmosphere building, but I loved it. The next and last book that I managed to read in September, and I actually only finished this last night, was The Raven King. Can I please have an applause? Thank you. This I have put on so many TBRs since I finished Blue Lily Lily Blue, because I kept saying to myself, I need to get to it, I need to get to it, I need to get to it. And I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I was terrified that this book was going to break me as a person and I wouldn't be able to cope. But look, I've still got the bookmark in the very last page. This book was everything I wanted it to be and some. It was incredible, absolutely 5 stars. All of this series has been 5 stars for me. I have loved it so much. I absolutely anticipate that The Raven Cycle is going to be a series that I am going to reread multiple times through the next however long I live, because it's just so good. Again, very atmospheric, very creepy, sort of creepy. Like, this book, for me, I don't know if anyone else has similar thoughts on it, but it took kind of a darker turn. There were some darker elements to this. There were bits that had me on the edge of my bed, because I read in bed. Like, I couldn't put it down. I read, honestly, half of it in a day, which was yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to finish it by the end of the month, but I probably read about half of it in a day. And it was just incredible. I loved it so much. There were things that I was terrified about happening that are kind of set up to happen from the very beginning. And the way in which it happened, I just loved everything so much. Everything about this series I think has been so well executed. 5 stars for the whole series. I will do a book babble on this when I've like gathered my thoughts a little bit more, but yeah. If you aren't aware of what the Raven Cycle is about, it's about an insane group of teenagers who go on this wild adventure that ends up being very life-threatening. There's magic and psychics and demons and all sorts of things going on all over the place. It's amazing. I loved it so much. Okay, there we go. That is my pile of September reads. It's not bad, I don't think. I'll turn it this way because you know what they all are. It's not bad. I've done worse before. Admittedly, I think I have also done better before, but after the reading quest I kind of had like a bit of a down period. No, it wasn't even after the reading quest, it was after I read A Gathering of Shadows. I kind of had a bit of a down period where I was like, I don't know what to do now. Where do I go from here? And I'm chuffed with how much I actually read. And to be honest, now that I've finished The Raven King, I'm sort of terrified that I might go into another sort of slumpy period where I'm now like, well, what do I do now I've finished the Raven cycle? Like, that was what my year was building up for. Now it's done, what do I do? But I will push through, I will get there, I will cope, it will be okay. Chuffed with my reading. If you've read any of these books, chat to me about them, of course. If anyone wants to converse about the Raven cycle, then I'm here for that. Similarly for any of the books, I'm happy to chat. Which ones haven't I done babbles for? I haven't done a babble for Strange the Dreamer. To be honest, I'm not sure if I will. If you want me to, let me know, because I don't really know if I'm feeling doing a babble on that one. But if it's wanted, I will do it. I will definitely do one on the Raven King though, so keep your eyes peeled. Eyes peeled? Keep your eyes peeled for that one. Yes, there we go. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you have enjoyed this little wrap up, then give us a thumbs up. Chat to me down in the comments about all sorts and everything. You know how that works. If you aren't subscribed and fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if I'm feeling generous. And I will see you next time. Bye!